Glengarry's March. Familiar with it? Yeah. Yeah, no, right, okay, yeah. Again, a bonny, bonny tune. And it's got a great mood to it. You've got to get the mood extracted, I think. The story, of course, is the famous one of the two clans. And one clan was in church on a Sunday morning. And the other clan came to attack them. And they locked the doors of the church in some way beforehand. And then they set fire to the church. Very cheerful, very cheerful. So there you are. There's a lot of blood and gore. I mean, we think politics today is bad. It's always been bad. Aye. I said I wasn't going to mention politics because it's Sunday. I've done it. Right, so yeah, Glengarry's March. And again, I'll play the kind of conventional way that the thing goes, and then maybe there's a few wee differences that can come in sometimes. Open the door, please open the door. Please open the door. That's what they say. Please open the door. Please open. I don't think they were saying that at all at the time, but this is the story. And Toto bro. And the way you can time that little group of three notes is quite different. People can do different things with that little group of three notes. Just add to the musical interest a wee bit, you know. That's the usual way you hear the ground played, often anyway. Another way, and I'll just play a wee excerpt, is to make more of the low notes, so to kind of play down on the low notes a wee bit. Ian Otto bro, Ian Otto bro. I'll just play the first line, just let you hear that way of it.
true as much that way.
Yeah, but that's just, Open the Door just made up. It was made up after George, you know. But if you look at the theme notes, then the low notes are the themal notes, you know. Toto bro, toto bro, So, you know. And then it gets even worse. If you look at the source scores of the tune, like when it was ever first written down, and that was about 1800 kind of time, then you see differences. And this would be roughly how it would be in Donald MacDonald. He wrote it down, and if I can catch it. It's much the same, really. It's much the same. But, yeah. I'll try and see what happens. That kind of thing. I didn't have the score in front of me, so I don't have the accuracy, but you get these little different turns in the different scores. Just different, you know. Nice. And then...
You were playing, I think both times you played a short B going up to the upper hand notes.
Is it not? Is it written a long B?
Is it? Are you talking about in the film, George?
Yeah.
It's there, that's right. It is.
Yeah.
Aye. That's right, it is. There's a B in there. Aye. Usually it's always played, really, that B. But then just, if you look at the Cantaracht of the Maccrimmons, you know, it's amazing to think that you can actually look at the Cantaracht that the Maccrimmons are supposed to have used. And it was written down by a guy called John MacLeod of Gesto, and he wrote 20 tunes out in the Macrimmon Cantaracht. And it's, what? Neil MacLeod. Oh, that's right, the Cantaracht of John Macrimmon. Is that right? And it's hard to decipher because, you know, all the notes are, some vowels are used twice for different notes and things like that. But it seems to be that the way he would have written the ground would be something like this. So he only wrote the long E at the start, and then he didn't bother with the long E's, you know. And of course, it gives a different flavour to the tune again.
That's nice.
Like it?
I like that.
It's nice. It's good.
Would it be acceptable to play?
Definitely. Aye. There's, aye. We can produce a score that would go out on the website. It's not, because the book. There's been a book written, a very scholarly book about this Gesto Cantarecht. It was written by Roderick Cannon, who's a great researcher in Piobaireachd, and he had it finished, and then he died before it was able to be published. So it's been sitting there. His daughter is the publisher, and she just found it very difficult to actually go and start to put it out ready for publication until about a couple of months ago, when she got in touch with us again and said, that's going to come out.
When's it going to be released?
I don't know, it's anxiously awaited. I can't I can't put a date on it, Alistair. But I think what I can probably do is get the score for that tune and stick it up on the website, because it's a set tune. And there are different, and it just out of interest, it seems to be that the Crunlua was very, very different as well. Very different.
Would you play on a Mac? Would you play it open?
You can if you want play, yeah, but the story was you play either or, you know, but nobody would object if you played both. Actually, nowadays I don't think at all, not at
It
all.
was played yesterday, bro.
Somebody played it on open, that's right, an open Foskelt they did. But this McCrimmon Cantarecht, the Crunlua, it seems to be different. Now, yeah, I'll try and do it. And forgive me if it doesn't work. That's the way it seems to have been written by that person. Yeah. Just
Is there anywhere within that where he repeats the ground after any of the variations, like with Balmoral?
it's not referred to much in the Gesto. It's not mentioned, but I mean it's very likely that they did. Yeah, they did. Because that particular tune, it actually doesn't have a thumb variation in his version. There's no thumb variation, so it would have to be very short, and it just begs, I think, returning to the ground between. You know, I mean, it's pretty short. Yeah.
I don't want to get too broadly off topic, but just how did we get from what you just played to that being like the earliest version, essentially, of the tune?
Yeah.
To what's accepted now and
Yeah.
and everything. Like, how does that happen? How does that transform? Much debate, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and it's fascinating, isn't it? It's how music transforms over time, and how music that's an oral tradition transforms over time. And it's different from music that was written down. Beethoven wrote it down as he meant it to be played, whereas these things weren't. And I think it's been influenced by lots of factors. One is the prevailing musical climate. I mean, just to think, how much does that influence our music today? Hugely, you know. And even, and I was just saying to Alistair before you came in, even in my time playing piobaireachd, it's changed. It's changed. It's different. The tempo's different. It's got faster, you know. So the prevailing musical climate, and I think, and that's number one. Number two, people getting scores and trying to write it down. Now they're writing down a diverse tradition, and you can only write down one score, you know. So a lot of stuff that was done just got lost because of that, I'm sure. And I also have a theory that, and it was kind of standardised, you know. Magnus McKay, he standardised it, yeah. You know, made the cadences all the same length, echo beats all the same. And so, and then of course people started not playing it by learning it without a score. They started to play it with a score, and that's what the score says. And more importantly, when it came to competition, of course, the judges usually had no clue at all at that time. Not a Scoobies. Right, you know? And there was even a controversy at one point when somebody suggested that one of the pipers could join the judges' panel to help them. And they didn't allow that. Would you believe? Because they said, "Oh, he's got a conflict of interest. He knows all the competitors. You know, nobody knows the music. You know." And so there was that. You know, and all that stuff. But I think it's very much the prevailing musical climate. And in Victorian times, it was very sort of expansive and very kind of drawing room. You know, whereas it's a wilder music than that, really, probably originally. And it's now become very. It's Alan MacDonald's theory, you know, and I think it's true to an extent. I think he kind of exaggerates it maybe, but I think it's true to an extent. You know, it's become a very drawing room music. We get very, very worried about a tiny fraction of a note length or something like that, you know. Too much, I think. Yeah.
Jack, at the same time, do you think that judges are more broad-minded because of the availability and study of different music now?
Shaking his head. you've just had the answer.
I feel over here there's a lot of, not to be controversial about it, but there's a lot of blinker judging over here, where there's a various style isn't accepted over here.
Yeah.
I find with moving here that with some tunes you have to play it a certain way. I've even came to competitions where you're being judged off one book that probably is not acceptable. You know, as good a book as it is, you know, it's one style. You know.
Yeah.
I feel over here just.
I think
there's a big difference between here and Canada.
I would imagine Canada is very broad-minded. They always seem to be, and Scotland.
Depends where you go.
Well, yeah, but we had a judges' seminar last Sunday, which was that, and we went to go over some of these, not these ones, but the ones set for the gold medal. And there was somebody new there who hadn't been there before, and he was impressed by how open-minded the judges seemed to be. Yeah.
That's the way Andrew Wright used to, I got teaching from Andrew Wright, and he would do what you've done. He would demonstrate different ways and chatted about it, and then let you make your own mind up on it, which I think is important because it's an extension of yourself. Again, you can go down either side of the road, but you know.
But there is a great thing. There is a great thing about wanting to win the prize, of course.
Yeah.
You know,
But
playing the game.
For prizes, or do you compete for personal?
Most people compete for prizes.
I don't. You're up there to perform music. You're not up there to compete for a prize.
I know.
And if you have the performance, the prizes will come.
Yeah. And ideally, of course, that's what you'll do.
But
Your heart's in that place. Yeah. What's it? Somebody coined the phrase, you should not play music to compete, but you should compete to play music.
That's true.
It's a great one, isn't it?
It's really true at Piobaireachd, huh?
Oh, yeah. For anything, yeah.
one thing that was common in the whole, what you played there was the E grace note instead of the G.
Yes.
And I do that too. It's more softer. I
Aye,
think that the G
aye.
would be a wee bit harder.
Toto, but in the middle of the throne. That's right.
I prefer it with the E.
Yep. So that's Glengarry's March.
In that Donald McDonald setting, you
Yeah.
intentionally added
Aye. He always,
down the low G, right?
yeah, always when he went down, he put a D grace note in there.
That's
Yeah.
just his setting.
Yeah, he did that. But then again, the other one, the first staff notation version of Pibroch manuscript was in fact before Donald MacDonald. It was by Angus MacArthur. All right, and he was the first guy, or at least the guy who wrote it out for him, was the first guy to separate, to put grace notes with their stems up and whatever it is, and the other ones. Was it?
There's a book on that.
Yeah, there is a whole book. But anyway, but he wrote the cadences the same way, and they're all just with a D grace note going down. Yeah.
There's a recording online on YouTube of Bruce playing that at the Donald McDonald Quake.
Aye, that's right.
That's
Aye,
great.
he played it. That's nice. Right. Mhm.
Hector's music is in competition. Wallace said in an editorial of the Piping Times for Piping Press, all music is competition. I don't agree with that.
All right, did he? Okay. Discuss. I know. Yeah, that's rubbish.
Edit that out.
Yeah, you can argue, of course. Music is about emotional connection. You know, that's all it's about. Yeah, to me. Yeah.
This music wasn't composed for competing. It was
That's
played
right.
at dinners and
That's right.
gatherings and
Yeah,
stuff, and
that's right.
It
Yeah.
had purpose.
Yeah.
But it's changed to compete, is what George says. Like,
It is.
you know,
It is.
there's a pressure on the competitor, I think, that doesn't allow you to put sometimes yourself into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have, it's up to yourself whether you want to play for a prize or play for a performance.
That's right.
You know, which
That's
is
right.
hard today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Okay. Any other ones now? What's the other ones that are there? King's Taxes, McCrimmon's Sweetheart, Little Supper, MacLeod's Salute, Chisholm's Salute,